When I got to the hospital, they gave me a CT scan, checked me for a concussion and broken bones, and I thought maybe my jaw, my cheek, or my orbital bone, but nothing. Like I didn't lose any teeth. I just had a couple stitches in my mouth and a couple on my lip, and I was ready to go again.
Welcome to episode 285 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. We have a trio of great conversations coming your way, but first, the news headlines. We'll start in Major League Baseball as always, where Calgary's Michael Soroka has had himself a pair of great outings for the Chicago White Sox. First, it was Houston last Thursday, where after surrendering a leadoff single to Yainer Diaz, Soroka struck out Cooper Hummel, Jake Myers, and Jeremy Pena to end the top of the ninth. The White Sox, however, lost that game 5-3. Fast forward to last night, or Wednesday, depending on when you're listening to this episode, Soroka was at it again against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And he got it done with to give them something to cheer about. Strike three. There's that devastating eighth inning. And two strikes. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Nice. 2-2.
Soroka allowed just one hit and walked two while striking out 7 in 3 innings of relief as the White Sox fell 4-0 to the Dodgers. It was the most strikeouts he's had in an outing since May 18th. Soroka's ERA is now 5.48 on the season. To the minors and a few great performances from Albertans and those with ties to our province. We'll start in the MLB Draft League, where former Brooks Bombers slugger and friend of the show Eric Radicek is making a name for himself. With the Williamsport Cutters, he's hitting .333 in 8 games and did this over the last week.
It's the 0-2 on the way. Radicek sends this one out towards right field. Looking back is Taylor, and that ball is lumberjacked. I said it. Get a ball up in the air to right field. The wind's gusting. Radicek does just that, and it's a 3-run bomb. 417 feet.
To go along with that dinger, Radicek now has 11 RBI and 2 stolen bases as well. In AA, Matt Lloyd is at it again with the Springfield Cardinals.
Here comes the pitch. And a swing and a ball hit well to right toward the bullpen, and this one is gone, a home run. Back-to-back home runs. Lloyd goes deep for the second time over a span of 3 at-bats. And he and Antico with back-to-back shots here in the third, and the Cardinals now lead 3-1.
1-0. Lloyd swings, hits a high, deep drive to left field. Rambush going back to the wall. It's gone! Fourth straight game with a home run for Matt Lloyd. This guy is red hot. It's a solo shot here in the 8th inning, and it's 4-0 Cardinals.
That's the second straight night he's gone the other way with it, too. Matt Lloyd, like you said, scorching hot.
As mentioned, the Dawgs Academy and Okotoks Dawgs alum has now homered in 4 straight games. He's hitting .278 with 12 homers and 44 RBI in 65 games. Could a call-up to AAA be in the cards? Well, speaking of call-ups, Wetaskiwin's Matt Kootenay is making a case for himself with the Tri-City Dust Devils in High A.
The 1-0. Kootenay high in the air, deep to right center. Dylan Rock and Jace Borfin going back. Track, wall, gone. Dylan Rock watches it go, and Matt Kootenay a 3-run homer. Kootenay with homer number 5, RBI 31, 32, and 33. Kootenay high in the air, deep to right center. Dylan Rock watching, it's leaving. Matt Kootenay a multi-homer night, and we are tied. 2 homers on the evening, 4 RBI. Wow, what a performance by the Albertan.
The St. FX product is now hitting .282 with 6 homers and 34 RBI, garnering more than a few calls from Angels fans for him to get a promotion. It's been a tough season offensively for Dawgs product Gavin Logan. He's with Arizona's High A squad, the Hillsboro Hops, but had reason to celebrate last week, hitting 2 homers in 2 days.
And Burgos has a sign. He's ready. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Gavin Logan, a drive to deep right field, and that is not coming back. It is a 3-run home run for Gavin Logan, and Hillsboro has a 4-2 lead here in the 8th. So Logan, who hit his first home run of the season in game one of the doubleheader last night. Hits number 2 here in a most opportune spot for Hillsborough, and it comes on an 0-2 pitch.
Logan is now hitting 148 with 2 homers and 9 RBI. And after going on the short-term IR, Dawgs Academy and Okotoks Dawgs alum Matt Wilkinson is back with the Lake County Captains, where he registered his 100th minor league strikeout of the season Tuesday night.
The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed by Nevin. Swing and a miss. Wilkinson winds, kicks, and fires. Swung on and missed. Swing and a miss.
Tugboat went 4 innings that night, allowing 1 run on 4 hits while striking out 4. He's now 4-1 with a 1.99 ERA and 13 starts, including 103 Ks in 63-plus innings. In other news, congratulations to all of the athletes named Baseball Alberta's Women's Open roster, which will be heading to Quebec in August. Among them are last week's guest Juliana Scott, as well as friends of the show Sydney Barry, Cassie Matlock, Sydney Moore, Caitlin Ross, and Madison Willen. They will be coached by Drew Boyer. And congratulations to a handful of Alberta products named to Baseball Canada's selection camp for the upcoming 18U Baseball World Cup qualifiers. The roster includes Simon Baker, Nathan Flewelling, Eric Hartman, Seamus Ryan, and Michael Yusufchuk, as well as several players who train here, including Leo Cote and Tim Piazantine. The World Cup qualifiers are in Panama City, August 2nd through 11th. We will get to the summer collegiate scene in just a minute, but first we wanted to go back in time a bit to when the Jays Care Foundation announced its annual Field of Dreams grants. If you head to SaskatchewanDugoutStories.com, we recently put together a new story on the project being done in Holdfast. Here in Alberta, the successful application came for upgrades at the Tuscany Diamonds in Calgary. At a packed house at Absolute Baseball, the announcement came in during a Blue Jays broadcast this spring, and Bow Ridge Little League got the reaction on video.
Bow Ridge Little League Baseball
How do you feel about the Blue Jays giving Bow Ridge some money for our Tuscany Diamonds?
Yes! Yeah, love it! I think that this is a big impact with us is because then we have better equipment, better fields, and so I think it's just going to be the best for us. And this donation means a lot.
Fantastic! Awesome!
We're very excited and thankful to the Jays Care Foundation for giving us this money. Looking forward to helping the next generation of kids, improving our facilities, making it safer for our children, and overall a big boost to our association. Thank you very much.
I had the chance to chat with Bow Ridge President Richie Borysewicz this week to catch up on all that's transpired since that big day, as well as talk about what's to come. Richie, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Give us a little bit of the backstory here on the Tuscany Diamonds project. What are you hoping to do with the fields right now?
Yeah, so we have 2 side by side. They both do not have very much fencing around them. There's a bit of a fencing wall in front of the 2 exposed benches, and then we have backstops for both fields. What we want to do is completely fence around both fields to enclose them off, make it a lot safer for the kids who are going to be playing on the fields, as well as the surrounding community members. We have a big field right across the path from the Ball Diamonds too, so there's soccer activities going on all the time. We oftentimes get people walking through the fields from the train station or the adjacent pathways too. So either it disrupts the games that are going on, or just creates a safety issue where we have to press pause for a moment. So that's the big issue, safety. And the next one is we want to attract more teams. We want to have some tournaments up here in the summertime during our summer ball season, which has kicked off already. We think it's a great little spot for the younger kids, typically age 9 and 10, to host some other Little League associations within Calgary, as well as Lethbridge, Medicine Hats, and other communities. So we want to bring the focus to us, show people what we have, and really highlight that Bow Ridge is a great association to bring baseball to our kids.
How much of it is looking at what others do? I mean, you guys go to tournaments all the time and you get to see sort of the community building and the community volunteerism and all that kind of thing come together. How much of that kind of weighed into wanting to make this kind of the showpiece for baseball in Bow Ridge?
I'd say it was a large part of it. You know, I am envious of a lot of the other communities where I see beautiful baseball fields. I have a personal opinion that the city of Calgary doesn't seem to like baseball that much, and they've provided a number of hurdles and hoops for us to jump through in terms of that. And really, you know, there's been comments when other teams come around our areas and they look at the field that they're going to be playing on, and, you know, the comments are, what, no fences? We can't play on this. And it's, I don't want to say embarrassing, but, you know, it really kind of cuts deep, and you want a place to play for everybody. And that's kind of where we're at.
I absolutely echo the sentiments about the city of Calgary and its dereliction of baseball. All you need to do is look at Foothill Stadium. I've opined about that on occasion. So what made you decide to pursue the Field of Dreams funding? What made you think maybe this is a project that is capable of getting its name added to that list?
Yeah. We were looking at funding from all sources. We put our name in for anything that was available that came our way. I have a good relationship with the president of Centennial Little League, who is a neighboring association, and they received quite a generous grant from the Jays Care about, I want to say, 2 years ago, where they updated or upgraded their Sanderac fields, and they had 3 of them all next to each other. So it was a bit of the impetus as well for us pursuing the project, and we knew that was an option, and we wanted to get our name in there to see if we would even qualify, and it just snowballed from there. So, you know, really, really thankful for the generosity. We're looking forward to partnering with them and getting construction underway.
I know one of the things in talking to different organizations in the past, including Centennial, was sort of that almost ready phase of the fields. I mean, by the sounds of it, the fields themselves are in pretty good shape. It's just a matter of putting a couple of things together, in this case fencing, and you've got yourself some pretty good facilities.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we're there too. The one diamond, the East Diamond, I think is in good shape already. Adding the fencing, building some dugouts, and enclosing the benches really is going to enhance that field as a whole. And then the West Diamond, which is a little bit bigger of a diamond, and we're hoping that we can host major age kids, so 11 and 12-year-olds and possibly 13-year-olds as well. That field is going to be spec'd out to be a little bit bigger. And I think it needs a little bit more work in the infields, but, you know, it's there, it's playable and ready to go. And we also want to include a batting cage in between the two fields, just to kind of enhance the area and really make it more attractive for teams to come to play and really use that facility.
Very cool. So I know how the process goes in these situations, and usually you get a phone call or an email saying you're successful, but hold it under your hat for a while, and we're going to make the announcement on TV. So when you got that email or that phone call, what went through your mind when you found out you're successful?
Yeah, I got the email, and I immediately contacted our project coordinator, Louise, asking if this was real. She said, yeah, she was just as surprised. And really, they didn't give us much notice. I think it was it a week, maybe 2 weeks? So we really had to scramble to find a place, because they want everybody to gather into a location and you know, scream and shout when they make the announcement on the program. And you know, we were kind of sweating it a little bit, thinking where we're going to go. I watched some YouTube videos of previous announcements, and they had some associations were out at the fields that they were going to enhance. That wasn't really an option for us at the time. So Absolute Sports allowed us to come into their facility, and they turned everything on the TVs for us, which was really great. But there was a lot of excitement. You know, we didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. We had already secured a couple of other grants from other sources too, and we were slowly trickling that out to the association So people knew that money was coming in and that our fundraising efforts have been successful so far. And of course, at that time, we didn't know the amount of the Jays Care grant. So that was a big surprise. And we had a good turnout. We have a lot of great people in this association and the community, and, very supportive.
Absolutely. I saw the clips of the watch party on your website. I got to ask, though, from a personal perspective, what's it like knowing what's going to happen and getting to kind of see the reaction, especially from those kids who were clearly excited about what was about to happen?
That was probably the best part. Most of them know what's going on, and whether they have a chance to play on the field or not, they realize it's a big deal for Bow Ridge. I personally have a harder time expressing that kind of excitement and emotion, and so that obviously I knew it was coming. I just wanted to see everybody else's reaction, and that's when it really hit me. How happy I was and how proud I am of all the people that we've had working on this so far, and what's to come.
How cool is it to think about what this thing's going to look like in whatever the time frame is where you get it done? Have you had that moment on the field yet where you've kind of looked around and went, man, in the not too distant future, we're going to have fencing and this thing is going to be a reality?
Yeah, I had a number of spring games on there already, and people are asking about project updates, and fingers crossed, we're still hoping to get that done this year. We're still looking at the fall timeframe. Unfortunately, with the unexpected water main break in town here, that's put the city in a bit of flux, and they haven't been able to commit to much at all, which is understandable. I'd actually say it really hit me when we had to submit a video for the application itself, and it was in October last year. They wanted pictures, and a video they said would help. And my wife and I went to the field because we couldn't have snow on it, and we knew snow was coming. It was a super cold day. I'm standing out in the wind. I didn't write anything up. It took us about an hour for me to get a good 30-second spot ready to go. and personally, I'm not a big fan of cameras or getting my picture taken and that stuff. But, once we got it done and we had some help putting the video together, and we got some drone footage of the area, it just shot up my excitement level.
Absolutely. What's it like, or what's it mean to you to be able to have this kind of impact from not just yourself personally, but from the board and everybody involved to really be able to bring something together and again, have that kind of meeting place or that community gathering place in the not too distant future that you can, I'll say, be proud of?
Yeah, everybody's excited. Everyone's on board. We're looking at ways of advertising and getting the word out more and more. District 3, who we are a part of, has done a great job of helping us advertise as well. And, I would just have to commend the people involved. We've got a good fundraising committee and some committed members and all that stuff. So we're all just looking forward to getting out on the field for the first time, and once it's done, and having a game out there. And I'd imagine we're going to have a good opening ceremony, speeches, and that kind of stuff. So stay tuned, I guess.
And I suspect at some point down the line there might be some paperwork done and applying for maybe some championships at some point down the road as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to use that facility as much as possible. The unfortunate thing with the unknown timeline of the Foothills Athletic Park, which is our premier diamond for 11 and 12-year-olds, we don't know how much longer we're going to have that. And so having this ready to go and waiting in the wings is going to be a tremendous help, because quite honestly, I want our association to grow, and with the limited field space, it's going to be harder and harder. So as long as we have a place for them to play, we're winning.
It's exciting times ahead for Bow Ridge and the Tuscany Fields. Richie, really appreciate the time. Congrats on the announcement. Continued success with everything going on at Bow Ridge. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Let's head to the Western Canadian Baseball League now, and it's been another action-packed week. The Regina Red Sox continue to roll, winning their 12th in a row on Tuesday, overtaking the top spot in the league's power rankings, with the Okotoks Dawgs and Sylvan Lake Gulls rounding out the top three. The Dogs have the benefit of a boatload of returning veterans and have lost just 2 games thus far this season. One of those veterans is former Academy player Nash Crowell. The Nova Scotia product is coming off a monster year at Reinhardt University, where he hit .341 with 23 homers and 71 RBI in 60 games. However, he might be best known for taking a pitch to the jaw mid-season, then returning just a couple of games later to hit a walk-off grand slam. We talked about that and so much more. Here's Nash Crowell of the Okotoks Dawgs on Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast.
Nash, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Back in Okotoks for another run. How happy are you to be back and fighting for a 3rd straight championship?
I'm so happy to be back. We got a lot of returning faces, and all the new faces that are here, everyone's gelling well together, and I think we're going to have a good push.
You mentioned those veterans. What's the message in the clubhouse as you chase another long playoff run here?
I mean, the goal is to win. People go to summer ball and it's want to have a good time. We're trying to have a good time too, but the end goal is to win a championship. Like, it's not just to goof off the whole time.
Mm-hmm. You've been in the crosshairs for a couple of years now. Everybody knows Okotoks is that perennial powerhouse. How do you make sure you keep getting better all the time so you don't fall behind or get maybe complacent to a certain extent?
Well, the resources that we have at our facilities, and we have full access to them at all times, you can always do something to get better, and there's always someone doing something that you can hop in and work with them, and everyone's trying to help everybody, so listen to your teammates. And I mean, there's good teams out there. We've dropped a couple, and so we know if we get complacent, we'll just not compete to the level that we're capable of.
In your eyes, what needs to happen over the next 8 or so weeks so you make sure you're put in a good spot where you can do some damage come August?
We're on a pretty good run right now. We just need to keep competing in the zone as pitchers, and we need to keep putting up team at-bats as the players. And I feel like that 4-game stint we just had in Fort Mac, we showed a pretty good running of that. Like, we had multiple 10-plus hit games, scored a lot of runs, and we shut them down on the mound. And it's fun to play like that, like when everyone's moving fast and the pitchers are rolling, and when everything's gelling, it makes the game a lot easier.
I was going to mention about that Fort Mac trip. I mean, that's a long ways away, but it's also kind of your first big road trip together as a group. You were amongst some of those who arrived a little bit later than the usual, I'll call it spring training. How integral is that to be able to have that moment where you can do some gelling aside from the regular baseball stuff that you do on the field?
It's huge, like just being in the hotel with the team and everyone's walking around to each other's rooms and hanging out. And there's so much free time when you're in a hotel and your game's at 7:05. You have hours at the beginning of the day to hang out with each other. And like you said, with the guys that came in a little late that weren't there that first week when everyone was still getting to know each other, it's a good chance to go talk to a guy that you haven't really had the chance to fully talk to yet. And it helps bring the team together for sure.
How do you guys like to pass the time when you're on the bus for that long or when you're waiting in between games?
There's a lot of goofing off, a lot of jokes being played. On the bus, a lot of phone games, listening to music, joking around with each other, little chirps here and there. Some guys bring little video games that they play PGA, some Mario Kart, play some cards.
Who's the card shark on the bus?
Oh, the card shark. I don't know. Me and Tucker play a lot of crib back and forth with each other, so I'd say I give the edge to one of us.
Fair enough. Who's the better crib player between the two of you?
Oh, well, I got to say myself.
Got to take the shot when you can, so well done. When you think of this summer, aside from the obvious goal of winning a championship, do you have any goals or aspirations for yourself?
Personally, I don't have any high goals or like records or anything that I'm chasing. My goal is honestly to win another championship as well, and I just want to be able to do my best to put my team in the best position to win the championship. I mean, it's the mindset's a little different than it is at school, because you want to do good for your school, but you're also looking to do good for yourself. But I'm just trying to win ball games and win a championship here in Okotoks.
Coming off a great spring over in Reinhardt, All-American third team in the NAIA after hitting 341, 23 homers, 71 RBI. You don't need to hear the stats, but I'm curious, how happy were you with your performance?
I was very happy, especially because of how far we went as a team, and I was able to contribute a lot defensively and offensively. And that All-American just get recognized for the season I had. It was awesome. My coach texted me, my dad texted me within 10 minutes of each other, congratulating me, and it was a cool experience.
Absolutely. On the flip side of that, I got to ask, how's the face?
The face is a lot better than it was.
I can only imagine. Now, for those who don't know, you had that inadvertent viral moment during the spring after taking a pitch up in the cheek. Take us through your memory of what led up to that, first off.
Well, we're playing the number one ranked team in the nation, Southeastern, and we had lost game one, and we were in game three. We had won game two. This was on Sunday, so this was to win the series, and neither team had lost a series, us or Southeastern, that year, and Southeastern hadn't lost a series in 2 years, so it was a pretty big game. And they bring in their flamethrower. He was up to 101, I think, that game, and they bring him in. We get a couple hits, and we get a walk. Tucker draws a walk, and I walk up to the plate. He throws me a fastball, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty quick. And I load up to get on time for the fastball again, and next thing I knew, I was on the ground, had my hand over my mouth, and was bleeding a little bit.
Just a tad. What do you remember in the aftermath? Like, did you have any concussion-like symptoms or anything like that?
No, I didn't have any symptoms. It was pretty remarkable. When I got to the hospital, they gave me a CT scan, checked me for a concussion and broken bones, and I thought maybe my jaw, my cheek, or my orbital bone, but nothing. Like, I didn't lose any teeth. Wow. I just had a couple stitches in my mouth and a couple on my lip, and I was ready to go again.
It's incredible because I messaged you right after I think you had a 2-home run game right afterwards, and everybody was just kind of shocked that you were able to come back so quick. So were you kind of surprising yourself a little bit with how quickly you were able to get back on the up and up?
Yeah, the main thing that I was worried about was if I was going to be a little gun shy at the plate when I got back in there, because obviously that's in the back of my mind when I'm stepping up to the plate. Even now, like, I still think about it sometimes in the dugout, because that was not a fun thing to go through. But yeah, just coming back so quick, and my parents were there, and they had already had the trip planned to come that week. I just happened to get hit in the face, so it worked out pretty good. But I'd say having them there helped a ton, just getting back in the box and playing so soon, because I didn't want them to come all that way and then me not play. And then you always like to put on a good performance for your parents.
Absolutely. Take us back to the moment when you took the selfie. Like, was that something that you kind of thought of in the back of your mind, like, hey, I should probably show this off, especially if I can remember it, kind of thing? Or walk us through the mindset there.
Well, I get back up, and my phone's in the locker room, and I walk up to grab that, because the first thing I wanted to do was call my mom, because she was watching on the live stream. And I just wanted her to know that I was okay, and I was headed to the hospital. And I open up my phone, and the camera pops up, and I was like, oh, I'm not a very pretty guy right now. And so I just took a bunch of photos just to remember it, and just to see, looking back on now.
When you think back on that and you look at those pictures, what kind of comes to mind now that you're kind of removed, in hindsight being 2020?
Looking back on it now, it's crazy. Like, I still got people coming up to me like, you're that guy that got hit. And I'm like, yeah, that was me. And yeah, just to have those photos and to show them off, it's pretty cool. I'll probably be showing them off for a few years.
I bet. Let's go back into your baseball past a little bit here, Nash. The product of Yarmouth. How did you get into the game in the first place?
It was my dad. He played baseball, and his dad coached him, my grandfather, and so it was kind of passed down. And I played other sports growing up, but that was kind of the one that stuck, because my dad played it, and he succeeded, and he loved it, and every little kid wants to grow up being like their dad, and I just fell in love with it.
Absolutely. So do you remember that moment when you realized that, hey, this is more than just a game that I like, and this is something that maybe I can chase a little bit further?
Yeah, I'd say the year before I went to Okotoks, when Micah McDowell texted me that Okotoks was interested, that was really eye-opening, because I mean, that small town in Nova Scotia, no one really gets out. Like, there's, you got the odd one every so often that leaves and goes and does something, and seeing that could be me, it was really eye-opening. And then I obviously get down here to Okotoks and start playing, and then college starts coming up in conversation. It was like, wow, like I can keep playing for a lot longer than a lot of other guys.
Mm-hmm. When you look back on your time at the academy in Okotoks, what's that program meant to you in your development, not just as a ball player, but obviously as a human being as well?
Ball player, tremendous. Like, those facilities are unreal. Like, the access we have and the knowledge that the coaches have, it's unbelievable. And as a human being, some of my closest friends I met here in the academy, and we still talk every day. Playing with some of them over the summer, and learned a lot of lessons. Some the easy way, some the hard way. But having those guys, like, as a human, everyone, like, we're all going through the same things together with baseball and school, and it was easier to balance things out because we were all going through the same things.
For sure. When you look back on the young career to this point, any favorite memories or moments on the field where you kind of had to take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I get to do this?
Yeah, when we won the opening round this year at Reinhardt, I couldn't even put it into words. Like, we just worked so hard, and we talked about it all year, and we got the opportunity to play in the championship game, and we were able to show out and win at home with our fans and everyone cheering us on, and just holding that trophy up. It was like, you knew you were doing something special, but it was that night when we got back to the room, it was like, wow, like, we're going to the World Series.
Very cool. On the flip side of that, they talk about baseball being a game of failure. What's been that biggest challenge or hurdle you've had to overcome over your career?
Learning to be able to deal with the failure itself. I mean, everyone wants to succeed as much as they can, and like the old saying, I mean, you fail 7 out of 10 times and you're in the Hall of Fame. And like, growing up, you never want to get out, but just learning to accept that you're going to get out sometimes, I think, is the biggest obstacle to overcome. Like, you're not gonna hit a home run every time you step to the plate.
Speaking of home runs, how much do you enjoy hitting it, Jack? Because not only did I get to watch you during the home run derby at the All-Star game last year, but it seems like every highlight that comes out from the Dogs with you going yard seems to be some sort of big celebration. Like, you really do enjoy getting to when you actually make connection like you do.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things about playing baseball. I mean, I just love the home run and the bat flip. It's if I know I got it, I'll show it off.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite go-to celly, or is it just kind of a spur of the moment thing in your head?
It's just whatever comes to me. I got some that are usually the same, but I'll mix in a couple different ones here and there.
Do you have a favorite home run, like the one that you look back on and go, yeah, that one was either special, or that one was long, or that one was the creme de la creme in your mind?
I think the walk-off grand slam that I had my first game back after getting hit in the face with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball with my parents there to watch. That was the first time they'd ever watched me play college baseball, and to be able to do that, it was unreal.
I can only imagine. A couple more for you, Nash, before we let you go. When you're chatting with those young academy guys, or maybe kids back home, and they're looking to get to where you're at now, what's that one piece of advice, or those words of wisdom that you love to impart upon them?
When they're wanting to continue their baseball career, I always tell them you just got to keep working at it. Like, it's not always going to be the easiest path, and sometimes it's got to be unorthodox and not the way you want it to go, but you just got to keep riding the wave, and it'll all work out for you if you want it to.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's working out well for you so far. Final question here, Nash. It's one we ask everybody. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
It's my life. It's what I think about every day. It's what I do every day. If I didn't play baseball, I don't know what I'd be doing.
We know that we've really enjoyed the time here, Nash. Congrats on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success in Okotoks and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yes, thank you.
And our final guest this week is an Australian who's been touted for having some quality tools at a young age. 18-year-old Lachie Smith is spending the summer with the Edmonton Prospects before he heads to Odessa College in the fall. He's following the same kind of path as his countryman Max Stagg, the Fort McMurray Giants outfielder who we chatted with last season. Like Stagg, Smith is enjoying his time in Alberta, even getting into the Edmonton Oilers playoff run after having never really watched hockey back home. Here's Lachie Smith of the Edmonton Prospects on Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast.
Lachie, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Oh, good. Thank you for having me.
Well, first off, welcome to Alberta. How are you finding things up here in the Great White North?
It's colder. It's colder, definitely colder. So it was good though because you guys are heading into your summer. It's going into our winter down home. So no, but it's good. The town, the atmosphere, it's nice, and yeah, everyone's so nice around here. The team's good, so I've been loving it.
Awesome. Aside from the weather aspect of things, what's been the biggest thing that you've had to kind of change things up with?
The food and the way I speak to people, because not everyone understands all the lingo and the slang that I've been saying, but I'm getting used to it. So and then the food is completely different. So all the shops, what they're called, fries, chips, fries. So yeah, no, it's good. I'm learning though.
Have they given you the rite of passage Canada-wise by forcing you to eat some of the standards, like whether it be Smarties or ketchup chips or any of that kind of stuff yet?
Yeah, I had to try the ketchup chips the other day. Can't say they're my favorite, but I've never tried something like that before, so it was definitely unique.
Anything that surprised you in a good way? Maybe poutine as an example.
Poutine. I've never had a poutine, and I think I've had that for 7 days straight. It is awesome. I love that. We have something similar, but it's a bit different, but I love it here. It's awesome.
That is fantastic. So take us back. I mean, did you ever think in a million years that you'd end up in Canada before you went to play college ball in the States?
No, I can't say I ever did. I'd always just thought I was going to go straight to college. I wanted to stay home, spend time with the family, and then I got this opportunity. One of my coaches knew a coach in the WCBL who connected me with Blundell, and so I was just like, awesome, let's get over there. So never in a million years I thought I'd be in Canada, and I'm loving it.
That's fantastic. So talk a little bit about that. I mean, it's one thing for guys here to go like a province over, a couple provinces over. Here you are flying over the water. Take us into your mindset heading over. Were you nervous? Were you excited? What was it that was running through your mind?
I was ridiculously nervous. I've played in all the international teams, but I've always known that I'm coming back home in like 2 months, a month. So I was very nervous. A lot of baseball. We don't play that much in Australia. It's more 1-2 a week. This is at least 6 times a week. So I was nervous on the flight, but as soon as I landed here, I knew I was going to love it. I thought it was awesome.
So what was it about this opportunity that really stuck out to you? I mean, did you have any expectations of what the gameplay was going to be like and that kind of thing going in?
Yeah, so I knew it would be a bit different. I'm used to back home playing with older guys. So we don't have high school baseball. We have open men's. And so I'm used to playing with older guys. And so when I came here, I knew the game was going to be faster and different. And it did. It is faster. It is different. But it's a good experience and I'm loving it. It's awesome to be here before college. It's a great opportunity to open up my branch of people I know and just make some new friends. So.
Did you have any goals, expectations of yourself maybe heading into the summer?
No, it was more just to, understand the speed of the game and how the different countries play. Because like I said, I'd played all the national teams. And it was fun, but you only get one game against them. So you don't really understand how they play. But being over here now, I can understand how, a Canadian plays and American. There's a lot of Americans in this league. So, just understanding the way that the game's played. Goals, my fielding has always been very good, compared to my fielding's been better than my hitting. So I just wanted to, and we have a lot more grass infields at home. So my goal was kind of just to get used to the dirt infields. My college is a dirt infield. Our home field for this is dirt. So I just really wanted to get used to it. So
You mentioned the different styles, and I'm always curious. I ask this of Canadians who get to play overseas or play in international. What's different about what you see in Australia versus what you see in Canada or even the US?
yeah, so in Australia, we're very close to the Asian countries. So we play a lot of Japan, China, Korea. So we try and play like them a little bit, and a lot of small ball. I don't think I've ever seen this many home runs hit in a single week. It's awesome. I love it. The pimp jobs, everything like that. But yeah, that's probably the main difference is, we try and play small ball in Australia, but there's so many home runs over here, a lot of long balls, and it's awesome.
You come pretty highly touted. I was chatting with Coach Blundell just a few weeks ago, and he had nothing but good things to say about you to this point. What's that mean to you to get that kind of recognition this early on in your time here in Canada?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I've created a good connection with Blundell. He's an awesome coach. I've never heard a coach say any of the things he said, and I love the philosophy he plays by. So it's awesome to have that recognition, and so early in my baseball career. So this league and this team has been awesome for me.
I've known him for a while now, but take us into someone who hasn't known him for a while. What's it like being in a dugout with Jordan? What's his philosophies like?
So he loves hitting ground balls. He likes to make the other team make plays. I think that's awesome because I love hitting ground balls. That's kind of the thing that I do most. But I like the way he plays the game. He coaches his signs when he puts on stuff. I think it's awesome being in the dugout with him, just picking his brain and knowing the situation. So it's been awesome.
Anybody from within the dugout player-wise you've really found yourself bonding with? Or especially, I look at your lineup and go, man, there's a lot of international flavor in Edmonton this year.
Yeah, so there's a guy on our team, Daniel Monty. Mm-hmm. He's my roommate, actually. He played at the same college that I'm going to. And so I think I spend 90% of the time on the field just talking to him, getting to know what he knows about the game, about my conference. I pick his brain, and for every at bat, I always walk up to first base and talk to him, see what he's thinking, and just if he's got any advice, he's helped me out tremendously. And then Josh Cote, our catcher, I like talking to him. He's my other roommate, but in a catcher's perspective, like what a pitcher's looking for, I've loved picking out his brain as well. It's been awesome.
Sounds like you've been a student of the game, and we'll get into that in just a second here. Let's go back in your baseball past here a little bit, Lachie. And you're a product of Victoria, Australia. So how did you get into the game in the first place?
So it's a funny story, actually. My best mate back home, I played cricket and he played baseball. He had I think it was his 6th birthday party, and he decided to have a baseball party at my local club, Sandringham. And so I was invited. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And so I quit cricket, and it was like, let's have some fun playing baseball. I used to play every sport growing up. Mum and Dad put me into everything. So I had a go at it, really enjoyed it, and then had some awesome coaches and developed, and that's how got into baseball.
What was it about the game that really struck a nerve for you?
I think it was the fact that once you got out, you get another go. In cricket, you don't. You're out, it's a long day. And so I liked the opportunities that I could keep going back and forth to it. And I thought it was awesome. And your hand wouldn't get sore because you got a glove when you catch. So I thought that was even better.
Absolutely. So when did it turn for you? I mean, it's one thing to have this game that you're having a lot of fun playing and that kind of thing, but was there a moment where you went, hey, maybe I can chase this thing at a higher level and maybe do something with it?
Yeah, it was probably under 16s. So all the way up through there, I was just playing because my mates were playing and it was fun. I was always pretty decent, but I just thought it was, I could go on the weekend, hang out with my mates, play a bit of sport. Under 16s, I was double bottom age, and I made the state team, which I was very surprised about. Started played really good. started getting interest from like the national teams and stuff. And from then I was like, all right, this is legit. This could be real. So I started telling mum and dad, I was like, this is what I want to do. I dropped all my other sports outside of school, and yeah, just focused on baseball. Dad was huge for me. Dad started playing. Once I said that, he was like, well, if this is going to be real, I guess I got to try and get a game with you in. So I played my first ever senior game with my dad, and that was awesome. And yeah, mum always filmed, so that was kind of the start of it. Filmed every at bat. It was awesome.
Very cool. When you look back on the young career to this point, do you have any favorite memories or moments where you had to just take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I get to do this?
There was a couple, definitely representing my country with a couple of my mates from the same club as me, actually. That was awesome. And then the national championship, I got to play with my best mate, Mitch Denny, and we ended up winning the whole thing, and that was a memory I'll never forget.
A lot of guys who I talked to internationally, and Max Stagg I chatted with last year about this very point, was at that point we were just fresh off that World Baseball Classic and the buzz around that. What would it mean to you to be able to play at a high level tournament like that and represent your home colors?
So it was awesome. I actually got to play with Stagg in that tournament, and I got to do it again next year because he's 1 year older than me. So it means the world. It's awesome. There's no better feeling than putting on the green and gold. It's an awesome accomplishment. I feel like everyone dreams of it, and it was a dream come true. Especially playing with the people I love, and against all the other teams, I got to learn some Spanish from the Venezuelans, and it's a dream come true.
So how different is it? How much in the feels is it when you put on that jersey for the first time and look down and go, man, oh man, I get to do this?
Yeah, it was awesome. I put it on for the first time, and I just went straight to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and it was like a wow moment. I had to splash water on my face. I was like, is this really happening? And it was awesome. It was awesome. I was lucky we got to wear the green jerseys game one, so the true Australian colours. So it was awesome to wear that.
Fantastic. On the flip side of that, everybody knows baseball's a game of failure. And so thinking back on the young career to this point, do you have that hurdle or that major challenge you're proud that you've been able to overcome over the years?
Yeah. So in my first year of senior league, which is our men's league, my first year in it, you had to be 14 to play. When I was 14, I got called up straight to the twos, the second best team. I thought I was really good. I was happy. I had one of the worst seasons of my life. It was tough. I was very young. I think I expected too much of myself. And Mum and I had a lot of meaningful chats about, like, she said I was thinking too much, and I said I wasn't performing. I need to do better. It was tough, but that next year, I think I just relaxed a bit more and then got moved up to the ones, and it was a lot easier from then.
When it comes to having conversations with your mom, chances are she's always right, right?
She's always right. Even if I'm right and she's wrong, she's right.
Always and forever. Never forget that life moment for sure. Absolutely. So a couple more for you before we let you go here, Lachie. First off, when you're chatting with those young kids back at home, or maybe you're in Alberta and they want to get an autograph, but they're also wondering how to get to where you are now. What's that one piece of advice or those words of wisdom that you'd like to impart upon them?
Just take in everything, listen to every coach. Not every coach is not going to be right, but there's bits and pieces from every coach. And if you put them together and just play your brand of baseball, play what's right, play what feels good, you'll be able to get anywhere. And just don't say no to anything. Say yes to every opportunity that you get, because I know I did that, and it's got me here. So I'm very happy that I did that.
Absolutely. How excited are you to go to Odessa next?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. So there's one other Australian that's coming with me, and there's a couple more in the league. So I'll get to play with and against them. And the brand of baseball that they play, my roommate went there, and yeah, he's been telling me all about it, and I just keep getting more and more excited for it. And using metal bats too. I haven't used that since under 14s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun.
Absolutely. How cool is it to be able to take part in different levels of ball and be part of, like, I'll call it a melting pot. I've heard that a few times about the WCBL, but even when you go down to Odessa, there's going to be a whole bunch of different cultures and different personalities colliding like that.
Exactly. Yeah, you can tell here there's a bunch of different personalities and different people. You got the people that won't stop talking, and then you got the quiet kids. But the team's bonded so well here. The bus rides are fun. I think it's awesome, and I look forward to it in Odessa as well. I've been keeping up with their school, and looks like we've got a fair few internationals coming next year, and that are still there from the last year. So I feel like it's awesome to just get to know different people and different personalities.
Are you the chatty one, or are you the quiet one who kind of takes that step back?
I seem to be the chatty one more so because everyone wants to hear the accent. So and the different lingo that I say. So yeah, that seems to be me.
I kind of figured as much, but you never know. I'm the same way. I can be an introvert and an extrovert depending on the situation. So
yeah,
totally get it. The final question that we have here for you, it's one we ask everyone. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
It means everything. It means passion. It means will. You know, never say no. Anything can happen. So it means everything to me. And I've loved the game. I love the game. Respect the game. And yeah, it's awesome.
It's been awesome getting a chance to chat with you, Lachie. You really appreciate the time. Congrats on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success in Edmonton, Odessa, and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks again to Richie Borysewicz, Nash Crowell, and Lachie Smith for joining us this week. And thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you haven't already, leave us a rating and review, as those kinds of actions help spread the word about ADS. A tip of the cap, as always, to our platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dawgs and Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment, for all they do for us and for baseball in Alberta. We are really grateful for the support of all of our sponsors, as they help us cover costs like travel and web hosting fees. For more on how you can get involved with your organization, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.